Jacob O'Connor was a boy of quiet determination, a 10-year-old with a heart bigger than most adults. He had a knack for finding adventure in the simplest of things, whether it was creating a makeshift fort in the living room or rescuing a stray puppy off the street. His spirit was infectious, lighting up the room with laughter and joy, yet he carried a weight that belied his age. Jacob was fiercely protective of his family, especially his little brother, Ethan, who had just begun to explore the world with wide, innocent eyes. The bond between the two siblings was unbreakable, rooted in countless shared moments of delight and mischief. Before we dive deeper into this incredible story, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Your support means everything to us and helps us share more heartwarming tales like this one with the world. So please hit that subscribe button now. One sunny afternoon, while their parents were busy with chores, Jacob and Ethan found themselves in the backyard, their laughter echoing through the air. Jacob, always the imaginative leader, concocted a game where they would pretend to be explorers on an epic quest. Little Ethan, with his wide eyes and giggles, followed Jacob's every lead, his trust in his big brother unwavering. They wandered through the grass, dodging imaginary dragons and searching for hidden treasures. In those moments, nothing else mattered except the joy of being together. But as fate would have it, that carefree day would take a harrowing turn. In a moment of distraction, Jacob noticed Ethan had wandered too close to the inflatable pool filled with water. The playful splashes quickly turned into a terrifying silence as Jacob turned just in time to see his little brother slip and fall into the deep end, the bright sun glistening off the water's surface, masking the danger below. Panic surged through Jacob like a tidal wave. His heart raced as he dashed to the pool's edge, the world around him blurring into a haze of urgency. He remembered the movie San Andreas, where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had performed CPR to save lives. The images flashed in Jacob's mind, and he felt a strange sense of clarity in the chaos. With a resolve that belied his age, he jumped into the pool, the cool water enveloping him as he dove down to retrieve Ethan. Time seemed to stretch as Jacob reached for his brother, grasping him tightly and pulling him back towards the surface. He surfaced, gasping for air, and without hesitation, he laid Ethan on the grass, instinctively kneeling beside him. With trembling hands, Jacob began to perform CPR, repeating the rhythm he had seen in the movie, pushing down on his brother's small chest. He whispered words of encouragement, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at him. "Come on, Ethan. You can do this," Jacob urged, willing his brother to respond. It felt like an eternity before Ethan coughed up water, gasping for breath as his eyes fluttered open. Relief washed over Jacob, and he hugged Ethan tightly, tears mingling with the laughter of survival. Their parents, having rushed out at the sound of the commotion, found the boys entwined on the grass, the weight of the world lifted from their shoulders. News of Jacob's heroism spread quickly. Local reporters arrived to interview him, and his story resonated with many, leading to a wave of admiration for the brave young boy who had saved his brother's life. But for Jacob, the accolades didn't matter as much as knowing Ethan was safe. He felt a sense of pride, not only for himself, but for the bond they shared, one that could weather any storm. Several weeks later, as the story continued to circulate, it caught the attention of none other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself. The actor, known for his roles in action-packed films and his larger-than-life persona, was moved by the tale of bravery and sibling love. He decided to reach out to Jacob and his family, inviting them to the set of his latest movie, Skyscraper, in Vancouver. The news was a whirlwind of excitement for Jacob, who had always admired The Rock not just as an actor, but as a symbol of strength and resilience. The day of the visit arrived, and Jacob's heart raced with anticipation. He could hardly believe that he would meet the man who had inspired him during the most critical moment of his life. As they entered the film set, the sprawling landscape of towering buildings and intricate designs captivated Jacob. It felt surreal, as if he had stepped into one of the action-packed scenes he had only seen on the big screen. Dwayne Johnson greeted them warmly, his infectious smile lighting up the dimly lit set. "Jacob, I've heard so much about you. You're a real-life hero, he boomed, kneeling to meet Jacob's gaze. The warmth in his voice enveloped Jacob, easing the nerves that had built up inside him. The actor's presence was larger than life, yet he exuded a kindness that made Jacob feel at ease. Together, they toured the set, with Dwayne explaining the various stunts and scenes being filmed. Jacob was in awe, hanging on to every word. He marveled at the elaborate equipment and the bustling crew, all working in harmony to create a cinematic masterpiece. Dwayne shared behind-the-scenes stories that made Jacob laugh, his laughter blending seamlessly with the sounds of the set. As they moved through the set, Dwayne took a moment to sit down with Jacob, asking him about his interests, his family, and how he felt in that critical moment when he saved Ethan. Jacob spoke with a maturity that surprised even himself, sharing the fears he had felt and the determination that had pushed him to act. Dwayne listened intently, nodding, his respect for the young boy growing with each passing moment. You know, Jacob, Dwayne said thoughtfully, what you did was incredibly brave. It takes a lot of courage to act in the face of fear, and you showed that you have the heart of a true champion. Jacob beamed, feeling a sense of validation that he had never anticipated. It wasn't just about saving Ethan. It was about standing up for the ones we love, about being courageous when it matters most. The day continued to unfold like a dream. Dwayne and Jacob participated in a few fun stunts together, with Jacob trying out some action moves under the watchful eye of the actor. The bond between them grew stronger with every shared laugh and story. Jacob's family watched with pride, their hearts swelling with gratitude for the experience that was not just memorable, but life-changing. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue across the set, Dwayne gathered everyone around. I want to honor Jacob for his bravery, he announced, the crew pausing to listen. This young man not only saved a life, but showed us all what it means to be a hero. With that, he presented Jacob with a special certificate of bravery, along with a signed movie poster of Skyscraper. The entire crew erupted in applause, and Jacob's cheeks flushed with a mixture of pride and disbelief. In that moment, he realized that his actions had made a ripple effect, reaching far beyond the confines of his backyard. The day concluded, but the memories would last a lifetime. As Jacob and his family made their way home, his heart was full, a mix of joy and love for the bond he shared with Ethan and gratitude for the unexpected adventure that had unfolded. Little did he know, this day was just the beginning of a journey that would forever change their lives. The bond between brothers, forged in the fires of adversity, had not only survived but thrived, strengthened by the love and support that surrounded them. In the quiet moments that followed, as they reflected on the day, Jacob understood that true heroism lies not just in extraordinary acts, but in the everyday courage to protect and love those we hold dear. As Jacob and his family drove home, the events of the day replayed in his mind like a movie reel, each moment vivid and filled with meaning. The golden hues of the sunset painted the sky, and the air felt charged with a sense of possibility. Jacob sat in the back seat, clutching the signed movie poster tightly, a tangible reminder of his experience with Dwayne Johnson, a man he had long admired. He could hardly wait to tell Ethan about everything, his little brother's eyes lighting up at the mention of their adventure together. Ethan, you won't believe who I met today, Jacob exclaimed, unable to contain his excitement. Ethan, still young and innocent, looked up with curiosity, his small face a mixture of confusion and awe. I met The Rock. He said I was a hero. Jacob's heart swelled as he recalled the proud moment when Dwayne had honored him. Ethan giggled, his innocence shining through. Like a superhero? He asked, his voice full of wonder. Jacob laughed, the sound echoing in the confined space of the car. Yeah, just like that. But you know what, Ethan? You're my superhero too. You made it through, and that makes you really brave. Their parents exchanged knowing smiles at the rearview mirror, their hearts swelling with pride for their sons. They understood the depth of Jacob's words, the way he had stepped up in a moment of crisis, but they also saw the bond that had only grown stronger between the two boys. Once home, Jacob rushed his room, eager to share his treasure, the signed poster with Ethan. He spread it out on the floor, its glossy surface reflecting the light. "Look at this, Ethan. Isn't it amazing?" he said, his voice filled with enthusiasm. Ethan's eyes widened as he took in the sight. "Can we keep it in my room?" he asked, already envisioning their shared space filled with memories of their adventures. Jacob nodded, feeling a warmth in his heart. "Of course. It'll be our superhero poster," he replied, a grin plastered on his face. As the days turned into weeks, the story of Jacob's bravery continued to inspire those around him. His school held an assembly to honor Jacob, and he stood in front of his classmates, nerves twisting in his stomach. But as he spoke about saving Ethan, he realized he wasn't just telling a story of heroism, he was sharing the essence of love and family. The applause that followed felt like a warm embrace, wrapping around him as he stepped off the stage, his heart racing with the thrill of being seen, truly seen, for who he was. One afternoon, while at the park, Jacob noticed a group of kids playing by the water. A familiar tension tightened in his chest as he recalled the day he had saved Ethan. Instinctively, he felt the urge to keep an eye on them. As he watched, he noticed a child leaning too far over the edge, giggling with friends, unaware of the danger lurking beneath the surface. Without thinking, Jacob stepped forward, his voice firm yet gentle. "Hey, be careful near the water." The child looked up, startled, and the laughter around them faded to a hush. Jacob felt a rush of adrenaline as he approached, his protective instincts kicking in. His heart raced, not out of fear this time, but out of a desire to safeguard others, just as he had done for Ethan. The other children looked at him, their expressions shifting from surprise to admiration. "You're brave," one of them exclaimed, and Jacob felt the warmth of their words wrap around him like a blanket. After that day, Jacob became a local hero in more ways than one. His story inspired not only his peers but also the adults in the community. They began to organize safety workshops, teaching kids about water safety and CPR techniques. Jacob found himself at the forefront of these initiatives, sharing his experience and encouraging others to learn the skills that might save a life. It became more than just an act of bravery. It evolved into a movement of awareness and education. The O'Connor family found themselves frequently visiting local schools, sharing their story of courage and love. During these visits, Jacob spoke passionately about the importance of looking out for one another, reminding everyone that heroes could be found in everyday moments. The bond between Jacob and Ethan grew stronger with every shared experience, their adventures now filled with purpose. One chilly Saturday morning, as the leaves turned brilliant shades of orange and red, Jacob and Ethan set out on a hike with their parents. The crisp air filled their lungs as they trekked through the woods, the sounds of nature enveloping them. Jacob and Ethan raced ahead, their laughter echoing through the trees, a melody of joy and brotherhood. Suddenly, Jacob halted, a thought striking him. "Ethan, remember when I saved you? What if we could help others too?" The idea sparked a new adventure in Jacob's mind, one that extended beyond their backyard. Ethan nodded enthusiastically, his eyes shining with excitement. "Let's do it. We can be heroes together." Jacob couldn't help but smile at his brother's unwavering spirit. That day, they decided to create a small community event focused on safety and heroism, inviting their friends and neighbors to join in. They spent the following weeks planning every detail, their excitement infectious. They crafted posters, shared their story, and encouraged others to participate. On the day of the event, the community came together, filling the park with laughter and camaraderie. Jacob and Ethan's parents beamed with pride as they watched their sons lead activities, teaching everyone CPR techniques and sharing safety tips. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Jacob looked around at the smiling faces, feeling a sense of fulfillment wash over him. The event had been a success, creating a ripple effect of awareness and community spirit. It was in that moment, surrounded by laughter and love, that Jacob realized the true essence of his journey. It wasn't just about the act of saving Ethan. It was about the connections they had forged, the lives they had touched, and the love that had grown from that single moment of courage. As the event wrapped up, Dwayne Johnson reached out once again, expressing his admiration for Jacob and his family's efforts. He shared how proud he was of Jacob for using his experience to inspire others, reinforcing the idea that true heroism comes from the heart. Jacob's eyes sparkled with joy upon receiving Dwayne's message. If this story is touching your heart, make sure to comment from where you are hearing this amazing story. The bond between Jacob and Ethan continued to flourish, their adventures now marked by purpose and a deeper understanding of love and sacrifice. They had transformed their experience into a beacon of hope, lighting the way for others to follow. In the embrace of family and community, they discovered that the strength of their bond could overcome any challenge, and the spirit of heroism could thrive in the most unexpected places. As they returned home one evening, a sense of tranquility settled over the O'Connor household. The lessons learned and the love shared had left an indelible mark on their hearts. Jacob looked at Ethan, his little brother's head resting against his shoulder, and smiled. They had faced the darkness together, and in doing so, had illuminated the path forward for themselves and others. The journey of resilience, love, and courage had just begun, and Jacob knew that they were ready for whatever came next. As they returned home one evening, a sense of tranquility settled over the O'Connor household. The lessons learned and the love shared had left an indelible mark on their hearts. Jacob looked at Ethan, his little brother's head resting against his shoulder, and smiled. They had faced the darkness together, and in doing so, had illuminated the path forward for themselves and others. The journey of resilience, love, and courage had just begun, and Jacob knew that they were ready for whatever came next. One rainy afternoon, weeks after the event, Jacob sat at the kitchen table, doodling on a piece of paper. His thoughts wandered back to Dwayne Johnson and the inspiring words he had shared. Jacob felt a spark of creativity ignite within him. What if they could do even more? What if they could create a program that not only educated people about safety, but also celebrated the heroism in everyday life? With newfound determination, Jacob approached his parents with the idea. What if we started a community program for kids? We could teach them about safety, but we could also recognize their kindness and bravery. His eyes shimmered with excitement as he elaborated. We could have a Little Heroes Day every month where kids can come together, learn, and share their stories. His parents exchanged proud glances, impressed by their son's ambition. They encouraged him to pursue the idea, helping him draft a proposal that would outline the program's goals and activities. Over the next few weeks, Jacob poured his heart into the project. He reached out to local businesses for sponsorship, spoke with teachers to garner support, and even created a social media page to spread the word. The community rallied around Jacob's vision, and soon Little Heroes was born. On the inaugural day, children from all over the neighborhood gathered at the park, their faces filled with anticipation. Jacob stood at the front, flanked by Ethan and their parents, ready to share the vision that had taken shape in his mind. Welcome, everyone. Today, we celebrate not just safety, but the everyday heroes among us, Jacob announced, his voice resonating with enthusiasm. He introduced various activities, from CPR demonstrations to storytelling sessions where kids could share their own experiences of bravery, whether big or small. Ethan, with his infectious laughter, added his charm to the event, encouraging everyone to participate. As the day unfolded, laughter filled the air. Kids learned valuable lessons about safety while also discovering the importance of kindness and courage. Jacob realized that heroism came in many forms, not just in moments of crisis, but in everyday acts of compassion. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, Jacob prepared to close the event. He called everyone together, a sense of accomplishment washing over him. I want to thank all of you for being here today. Remember, we are all capable of being heroes. Whether it's helping a friend or standing up for what's right, every small act counts. The applause that followed felt like a celebration of their shared journey, a testament to the bonds they had created. Jacob's heart swelled with pride, knowing that this was just the beginning. The Little Heroes program would continue to grow, inspiring children to embrace their potential and nurturing a community that valued love and bravery. As the crowd dispersed, Jacob felt a gentle tug on his shirt. It was Ethan, his eyes wide with admiration. "You're my hero, Jacob," he said simply, and in that moment, Jacob realized that the greatest reward wasn't the accolades or the applause. It was the bond they shared, the trust and love that had blossomed from their experience together. That night, as Jacob lay in bed, the events of the day replayed in his mind like a cherished dream. He drifted off to sleep with a smile, knowing that he had not only transformed his own life, but also the lives of others. The spirit of heroism was alive and well, thriving in the hearts of those who dared to love fiercely and act bravely. In the months that followed, the Little Heroes program became a cornerstone of the community. Families rallied to support it, and Jacob's story continued to inspire others to step forward, to share their own moments of courage. Each month, the gathering grew, weaving a tapestry of shared experiences and collective strength. Through it all, Jacob and Ethan remained inseparable, their bond deepening in ways they could have never imagined. They tackled challenges together, celebrated victories, and learned the importance of resilience. Jacob understood that though life would present obstacles, they would always face them side by side, united by a love that transcended any adversity. As the seasons changed and their journey unfolded, Jacob felt grateful for the path he had walked. The lessons learned were etched in his heart, shaping him into a young man who understood the true meaning of heroism. It was about compassion, courage, and the unwavering strength of family. And as he looked toward the future, he knew that whatever lay ahead, he would embrace it with the same spirit that had carried him through the darkest moments, the spirit of a true hero.